Hey guys, Logan Kirk with RockyMountainMysticMan.com. In today's video, I'm going to be covering a very important topic, and that is how to avoid being tracked or followed during an SHTF situation in the wild. Now you guys, a lot of this has to do with modern leave no trace ethics, all right? What that means is that when we go out into the wild, we leave as little evidence as humanly possible so that other people can come and enjoy the pristine wilderness just like we are, or future generations are going to be able to do the same. Here's the thing. During an SHTF situation, you probably out here are going to be dealing with roving bands of bad dudes, people that might be wanting to hunt you down and track stuff. There might be a situation where you've got military looking for you. You might have the sheriffs, these rogue sheriff departments and rogue police that have banded together, because during an SHTF situation, all of those factions are going to be dangerous. We want to avoid them at all costs. It's very important. So things like when we're out here, okay, when we make a campfire, when we make fire, we use things like Dakota fire pits, all right? Or we find natural depressions where we build our fires and we keep them very low, all right? We only use them for cooking. We make sure that it's not visible from very far until you walk up on it. We try to build it near bushes or trees that are gonna help disperse that smoke before it goes up in the sky and becomes a beacon. These are important things. Fire, it's important for our survival, right? And you're gonna need to use it even when on the run. But here's the thing. Fire can give you away and it can become very dangerous, all right? You just need to know how to utilize it properly. When you're done with your fire, it's important. If you're near a water source, take those coals, get them gone. All that charred wood, throw them into a creek, throw them into a river. If you're not able to do that, you bury those things. And then you want to do things like grab large rocks, right? Big old rocks. And then you want to cover that fireplace. You want to take logs and you want to cover it up, because you don't want anyone but a professional tracker who has to spend a lot of time to look for you. The other thing is, you guys, when we're moving across the wild, all right, it's important that you're picking your path. You're not leaving footprints. Leave no trace. Stick to the rocks. I'm telling you guys, I love tracking. I love tracking animals, and I love tracking people. It's it's kind of a hobby. If I'm up here in the mountains and I see boot prints or something that I don't recognize, I follow them, especially if they're fresh. And I like to get eyes on people. And I don't usually always say hi to them, but I got my binos with me. If I can see you across the valley and I spot you, at least I know where you are, because I don't trust anyone out here, okay? If you come across me when I'm up here, I'm using extreme caution, all right? And I want to be having that extreme situational awareness. My eyes are up, my head's on a swivel. I'm always trying to make sure that I fully know what is going on around me out here, okay? In an SHTF situation, knowing what's going on around you is probably one of the top skills that you need to hone. And that means that being able to look around and recognize dangers before they recognize you is going to keep you alive and keep you safe. And that's one of the things, you guys, moving carefully. So out here in the Rocky Mountains, there's a lot of pine needles and pine cones and duff and debris everywhere, but there's also lots of rocks. And I will tend to pick a path that avoids walking on the pine needles, walking on the pine cones, and sticking to the rock outcroppings. And I'll move along those outcroppings because one, all right, I like to be as quiet as possible. The most noise I make is when I'm talking to you guys on the camera. Other than this, I don't say a word for hours. I'm quiet. I'm moving slowly. The other thing is too, is unless you have to move in haste, move with intention and purpose. That doesn't mean that moving quickly so that you're causing noise and scuffing the ground up. That means that you're thinking about every step you take, all right? So if you're not being tracked, if you're not actively being hunted, you still want to use the same ethos, and you don't want to leave evidence of where you have been. That means not breaking branches, not walking through the brush and cutting stuff up. That means not using your knife or your tomahawk and breaking things to pieces. That means not cutting down stuff that you don't need to or cutting into things. You guys, leave no trace behind you. Everything. If you've got trash, now listen, I carry a very minimal loadout, all right? Food-wise, I don't have a huge caloric intake that I use, all right? I've conditioned my body where my caloric intake, I can go for a long time. I make sure that I have water. I make sure that I have access to water. I'm always looking for sources. But food is one of those things, you guys, I don't require a lot of it, and I've trained myself to do that. You can do the same. Maybe that's something we can talk about in a later video. But the thing is when you're out here moving, at all times, you're thinking, am I leaving evidence that I was just at that location? All right? Because I'm telling you, it doesn't take much for me to realize that there's another human on the mountain with me. All right? I'm listening. I'm looking. Keeping my head on a swivel. I'm looking for signs. I'm looking for scuff marks on the ground. I'm looking for broken branches, because I'm telling you what, you guys, human beings, I'm sorry, but most humans, we're destructive when we move through the wild. I mean, the evidence is incredible. I mean, an animal's not gonna walk through this brush and break a branch off, all right? Human beings are gonna do that. Most people, unless you're trained in the military or had good parents, you drag your feet. And I'm telling you what, even you guys out there that say, oh, I don't do that, you probably do every few steps, drag a foot, all right? Now, my dad, he's a hard ass, and the military, even more of a hard ass. You pick your feet up when you walk, and there's reason for that, because it keeps you from leaving evidence and sign. You guys, I hope that you've taken a little bit of information from here and this has been helpful for you guys, because remember, during an SHTF situation, these are the things that you want to keep in your mind. It's what's going to keep you alive, keep you safe, and keep you moving and keep you going. And that's what I want, all right? I want good people during SHTF to survive, because you're the person that I want to run into out here, because together, during an SHTF situation, we're gonna help each other. We're not gonna try to steal from each other, hurt each other, because that's not what we do. We keep kindness and love in our hearts, but we keep caution in our minds. You guys, thanks again for watching the video. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And also, I'd love to hear if there's any videos that you guys would like me to do. Just let me know. And as always, I'll see you again soon.